Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my eyeshadow palette collection video. So I do have a whole lot of eyeshadow palettes to get through, so I'm not going to talk too much, but I do store my eyeshadow palettes on this little acrylic cart. This cart is by the brand Simply Brilliant and I found it at Marshall's. This cart is very sturdy. I really like how thick the acrylic is. Like, it's super thick. I don't feel like it's going to break. It's not flimsy or anything. My palettes are very much secured. So I'm going to zoom you guys in on this first shelf and we're going to get into these palettes. So this is the top shelf and I mainly have my Cara Beauty palettes up here. I have a couple of other brands as well. So let's start in the front. This palette is actually from the brand Rude Cosmetics and this is what it looks like. It's the Potpourri palette. It has some really pretty fall colors in it. This is another one from Rude Cosmetics and this is their Freshly Cut palette. This palette is really pretty for the spring. It has some really fun colors in it. I really love that pink up here. And yeah, it's a really nice palette. Next we have the Cara Beauty Pro 17 palette. It's their Like Totally palette and it is a whole bunch of pink. This is my favorite one because y'all know I love pink. Anytime I want to do a pink look, I know that I can just grab this palette and it has pretty much every pink that I could possibly need. So I have that one. Then I have their glitter palette. This is their Pop That Glitz. I found all of my Cara Beauty palettes at Marshall's or TJ Maxx. So in case you guys were wondering, this palette is literally full of all kinds of glitter. So I have that one. I love the packaging on this one. It's so pretty. Okay, and then we have You Had Me at Aloha, which is number 9. And this one has some really fun colors. I need to get some more use out of this one, but I'll have that. Next we have number 10, which is Havana Club, and here, this is what this one looks like. And we have number 13, Mind Trap. This really bright red. This one is like a rainbow matte palette. So all of them are mattes and I've actually never used this palette, so I need to. So I have that one, and then we have Goddess Nem, which is number 15. And it looks like this, very cool toned, silvery, pretty palette. This one is honestly not even my vibe, but I just have it. And then we have Cleo Queen, which is like the gold version of Goddess Nem. Okay, if I can get that sleeve. And this is what it looks like. Very bronzy, goldy, pretty. I love this palette so much. This one is so pretty. I think this is like one of my favorite ones for sure. So I have that. And then we have Mauving Slow, which is number 18. And this is what this one looks like. I don't think I've ever used this one either. So, oops. I just dug my finger in it. But yeah, I've never even used this one, but I have it. I went through a phase where I just wanted to collect all of these palettes. So some of them I've never even used before, but I just have them. This one is Very Good, number 19. Light berry tones. And then we have From the Bahamas, which is number 20. I actually have a price tag on most of them, and you can see that they were only $10 at Marshall's. So I don't know, I was just collecting them at one point, so I have them all, well, most of them. This one is really pretty. Never used. I was really just buying these palettes, y'all. I really was. And then we have Ride the Wave, number 21, Ride the Wave. And this is what this one looks like. Very pretty. This one is so pretty. I really need to use it. I like that shade right there with the micro glitters. That navy blue is really pretty. Ooh, this one's really cute. I need to pull this out, do a blue look. Okay, so those are all of my Pro Cara Beauty palettes. Now we have some ColourPop. This one is the Your Golden palette. So pretty. Love this palette. I love this palette. I really like the shade called Must Stay. So pretty. And that one too. That's a really pretty glitter. And then we have the Gone Matte palette. I was obsessed with this palette at one point. I still like it, but I'm just not as obsessed with it. I actually haven't been reaching for this one as much, but I used to be obsessed with this palette, so I have that one. Next we have some of the Aviation Norvina palettes. This is the volume 4. And this is what it looks like. It's very pretty. This one's so pretty, but that glitter just gets everywhere. Like, some of the shades just crumble. So I have that. And then I have, is this volume 1? Yeah, volume 1. I just went in BoxyCharm a long time ago, and I don't even think I have used this palette, which is so sad because it is so pretty. We have that one. Clearly didn't use that one as much as number 4. And then I have volume 3. I think I found this one at Marshalls or something. The only one that I paid like full price for was volume number 4. This one I got in BoxyCharm, and then this one I found at Marshalls or TJ Maxx. Or it might be the other way around. I might have got this one in BoxyCharm and then got this one at Marshalls. I don't remember. But yeah, just have it sitting here. Next I have my Glam Light Barbie palette. I love this palette. It's so pretty. Such a good spring, summertime palette. And then I have my little palette that I built on my own. And let me see if I can get this out. Ugh. Okay. Next I have this palette that I built on my own. Let me open it up so I can show you. I built this palette so many years ago, and it just has a whole bunch of singles. So this side I have like shimmery shades, and then on this side I have all of my mattes. And yeah, I was so obsessed with this palette at one point. I still really like it. I don't think I would ever get rid of it, but I need to like take better care of it because some of the shades is just falling all over the place. But yeah, I love this palette so much. This was also a phase of mine, so I have that. Oops. Okay, let's leave that out. And then I have another Adept palette that I have some single shadows in. Oh. Okay, so one of the shades broke. I need to clean that up. But these are Give Me Glow Cosmetics, and I really need to clean this up. Oh my gosh, look how it's literally a mess. I'm about to leave this out so I can clean this up after I film this video, because that's very sad. So that's everything on the top shelf. Let's move down to the second shelf. Okay, so moving down to the second shelf, in the front I have this BH Cosmetics BFF Alondra and Elsie palette. I really like this palette. It's so pretty. I remember being obsessed with this palette specifically for the shade BFF. It was just so pretty to me. I still like this palette. I don't think I would ever get rid of it. It was definitely worth picking up. And then I have my Huda Beauty Empowered palette. Very pretty. I have the Naughty Nude palette from Huda Beauty. This one has some really pretty shades in there. And then my favorite one is the Mercury Retrograde palette. And this is what it looks like. I love the shimmers in this palette. This is another palette that I would just never get rid of. I feel like it's one of my favorites. So I have that. And then I have the Sweet Shop collection from BH Cosmetics. So I have the Cotton Candy one, the Sugar Cone one. I actually did not get as much use out of these as I thought I was going to, but I found them at Marshalls and TJ Maxx, so I was just picking them up. And then I have the Pistachio one that everybody was going crazy over. I need to start doing more eyeshadow is what I'm feeling like now that I'm doing this video. And then I have the Cherry one, the Bubblegum one. Ooh, look at that blue. Look at that blue. So pretty. And then I have the Orange Sorbet one. I have a couple more BH Cosmetics palettes back here. I have the 90s one. And then I have the 2000s one. And then I have the 80s, which I've never used. So there's that. Put these back. Okay, moving into the middle of this shelf, I have the Roaring Hearts palette from ColourPop. Very, very pretty. I have my Urban Decay Basquiat palette, which for me is a collector's item. I have used this palette before, but I keep it specifically for collector's purposes. I like that it has like a little hook in the back so you can hang it on your wall or whatever. My fiance loves Basquiat, so he got me this palette, so of course I'm gonna keep it forever. This is one of those palettes that I keep in the box, you know? So I have that. I have the iconic Anastasia Jackie Aina palette. If you had this palette, then you know. This was a gem, for real. Like, I love that palette. Then I have an Adept Cosmetics palette. They actually sent this over to me. They let me pick out some shades and fill up a little palette. So I made this little color scheme myself years ago. And then I have the Dominique Cosmetics Latte 2 palette, which is very, very pretty. I have my Jaclyn Hill Divine Neutrals palette. I believe I found, did I find this? I think I found this, I think I actually found this one at like Marshalls and TJ Maxx or something. And then I have my iconic Amrezy palette. That barb shade right there is, man, they need to make this barb shade into a single or something, because that needs to stay forever. I have that one. And then we have some more Carter Beauty palettes. I have the Carter Beauty Starry Eyes palette, which I don't think I've ever used. And then I have the Bright and Brilliant palette, also from Carter Beauty. And then I have my Transitions palette from Dominique Cosmetics. I used to be obsessed with this palette. I got this in a BoxyCharm years ago, and I was so obsessed with this palette. I used to love doing me a neutral matte look. Back here I have the box to my Pat McGrath palette, but my Pat McGrath palette is actually on my Vanity, so I'm going to get the palettes off my Vanity and show you guys those as well. But I'll just keep the box back here because I want to keep the box. So I have that. Let me put some of these back. Okay. Now starting over here, I have some more Carter Beauty palettes. I have their little butterfly palettes. This one has pink and like yellowy orangey shades. I'm not sure what the name of this palette is. I don't know the name of this palette. And they're magnetic, so they, you know, go back together. I also have the purple and blue version of this palette. So, and then here goes the purple side, which I have used this side. I don't know why it was taped shut like that. I did a whole video using this palette. So I have these. These are really, really cute. And then I have a couple more Carter Beauty palettes. I have the Orange Pop palette. And this is what it looks like. Very pretty. I did get rid of a lot of Carter Beauty palettes, and I gave them to my friend, but I still have so many. I don't think I'll buy any more. Like, that phase is definitely gone, but since I have them, I'm gonna keep them. So this one is really pretty. And then I have some more Carter Beauty palettes. So I have the Scorpio palette, the Sagittarius palette. I really want the Leo one. I still want to get the Leo one. I have the Aquarius palette. This one is so pretty. Wait, we have to swatch this shade, because what even is what? This is gorgeous. What? That is so pretty. Look at that. I just want to put this all, I want to put this all over my face. Like, why is that so pretty? I've never paid attention to this palette before. And this shade is pretty too. Wow. Look at that. Okay, we need to swatch this purple. Look at that. Y'all, I have been asleep. I've been asleep on this palette. Look how icy that yellow is. Wow. Okay, so I have that one, and then I have the Capricorn, which I've used this one. I don't think I've used the Scorpio. Have I used the Scorpio one? I think I've used the Scorpio one, but I've used just a couple of shades out of it. And then I've used the Sagittarius. That Aquarius one though, this one's probably my favorite one. And I haven't even used it yet, but look at that. This is just beautiful. I guess we could start swatching some palettes since I got some whites now. Whatever. I could have been swatching these palettes. Okay, next I have my Strawberry Dream palette from Lunar Beauty. I've had this for so many years. This was my favorite shade. Might as well swatch it for you guys. Look how pretty that shade is. So pretty. So I was just so in love with this palette. I kept the box, so that's how you know. I mean, the packaging is just really cute, so I get it. Okay, and then next we have my Pat McGrath. What is this one called? Oh, it's called the Mothership Mega Celestial Nervina palette. I got this from Marshall's for $34.99. Did not pay full price for this. I didn't pay full price for none of my Pat McGrath because y'all, Pat McGrath is expensive. So all my Pat McGrath I found at Marshall's. And let me show you guys what this one looks like. So pretty. I literally have not even touched this palette, so let's swatch a couple shades just to see. I love swatching shimmers, if you guys cannot tell. I'm gonna swatch this one. Ooh, I just love how creamy, like so creamy. Look at that, so pretty. So I have this one. I need to use my palettes. I need to do like an eyeshadow palette challenge or something. Like, I've been seeing those on TikTok. Next I have this Culture palette from Javia's Place. And this one is really pretty. We might need to do some swatches from this palette too, because this palette is really pretty. I remember I got this palette from Ulta with my points. So yeah. Ooh. Just so pretty. Okay, let's see. Let's do this one. Ooh. And let's do this purple. So pretty. So pretty. So many pretty shades in this palette. You got some mattes, you got some shimmers, and I think one of these shades is a glitter. I think it's this one. Yeah. A nice little glitter moment if you want to add some glitter to your look, you know. So I got that. I need to wipe that off. I'm sorry if y'all hear my ice maker. My ice maker be working overtime, okay? Because your girl loves some ice. Okay, next I have this Tammy X Revolution palette. And I've been on the fence about getting rid of this, but for some reason I just can't do it. Like, it's just something about this palette that I just can't get rid of it. So I've just been holding on to it. So I have that. And then I have my Morphe No Silent Nights palette. And this is what this one looks like. Really pretty. Okay, so that was everything on this second shelf. Let's go down to the last shelf. Okay, so we finally made it to the last shelf. This one has a lot of smaller palettes, so let's get started over here. First, I have the Javia's Allure 1 palette. And this is what this one looks like. Then I have the Allure 3 palette. I love that little icy blue. Next we have the Bronze Rustic palette. And then the I Live, I Love palette. Next we have the Nomad palette. And I remember being in love with this shade right here. It's just so pretty. That is the shade that keeps me holding on to that palette. Next I have the Tribe. This used to be a favorite of mine as well. And then the Warrior palette. I had the other Warrior palette, but I ended up giving it to my sister because she wanted a neutral palette, and that was a really good one, so I let her have it. And then I have the Bridgerton Pat McGrath palette, which is so pretty. I have the Pat McGrath, what is this called? Celestial Nervina Bronze Bliss palette. So pretty. And then the Celestial Nervina Nude Allure palette. Back here I have a couple of these bite-sized shadows from e.l.f. I used to have a whole bunch of these, but I only kept the mint one and then the truffles one. So those are the only two that I kept. And then we have a couple of Natasha Denona palettes. These were from BoxyCharm. This is the Ayana palette from Natasha Denona. And then this is the Jubilee palette from Natasha Denona. I got both of these in BoxyCharm years ago. Another palette that I got in BoxyCharm was the Ethereal Bloom palette from Artist Couture. I used to be I literally have not been subscribed to BoxyCharm in actual literal years, like 4 years, and I still have some of the stuff that they sent me. So this is one of those things. Very, very pretty. Oh, I actually have one more Natasha Denona. This is the Peak palette, also from BoxyCharm years and years ago. Let's put these back because I need to make sure everything fits when I try to put it back. Now we're going to start off with my ColourPop palette. So first I have this Hello Kitty one that they put out years ago. I have the Brown Sugar from Karuchi x ColourPop. The Wild Child, which is my favorite one. Ugh, and it's broken. It's this shade. It's so soft. Let me see if I could put that back in there and just press it down. Yeah. This shade is really pretty though, since I already got it on my finger. Let's swatch it. So cute. But my favorite shade in this palette is Grasslands. It's a really pretty micro glitter matte, and it's just so shimmery and pretty. I love that shade so much. So that's why this is my favorite palette. And then I have the Baroque palette. I did a really pretty look with this a while ago. The Mandalorian Child, is that how you say it? Yes. The Star Wars Mandalorian palette, which is also another fave of mine. It has some really, really pretty shades in this palette. I did so many cute looks with this palette, so that one is a love. Then I have the At Forest Sight from Raw Beauty Christie and ColourPop. The California Love. I decluttered this and then I brought it back. This is the Nightmare Before Christmas palette. I just cannot get rid of this. It's just so cute to me. And then I have the Lush Life palette. That blue right there is just so pretty. I have the Mulan palette. I have the Hocus Pocus palette. This is the first one that they put out. The Powerpuff Girls palette. The Midnight Masquerade palette. And then the Hocus Pocus 2 palette. Next I have the Glamlite Hershey's Kisses Milk Chocolate with Almonds palette. Let me see. This one, oh, okay. It opens like that, and here goes the shades. It's so cute. And then back here I have the MAC Cruella palette from their Cruella collection years ago when that movie came out. And this is another one of those collector's items for me. This was also purchased by my fiance. Any eyeshadow palette that my fiance bought me, I'm keeping forever. So this one, and then my Basquiat palette, he bought those like on his own, surprising with them, so they're very special. And let's put these back. I actually missed this little palette in the front. This is the ColourPop Waffle Cone palette. I thought this one was really cute, so I just picked this one up. But they had a whole collection of little palettes that came in this packaging. So I have that one. And then these are actually face palettes that I'm going to show you guys anyway. So this is the Beauty Bakery Coffee and Cocoa palette. And this is what it looks like. And then we have the Fenty Beauty Kilowatt Foil palette. This is so old. The Tulum palette from DH Cosmetics. Very pretty. And then I have this Benefit Cheek Glitters palette, and I actually customized it and put Hula Toasted in here because I had a Hula bronzer in here and that doesn't work on me. So I just put the Hula Toasted in here. I need to pull this out because I haven't used this in a long time. So yeah, I got that. And then I have this Anastasia Glow Kit. My friend gave me this so long ago, and I will just never get rid of it because it's just special for that reason. When people give me palettes and things, like, it's just so hard for me to get rid of. And then I have the Rose Romance palette from Jacqueline Cosmetics, which I don't really like this palette. I did not really enjoy this one, to be honest, but I'm gonna give it another try because I think I only used, I can't even remember what shades I used, but I just remember I did not like it when I used it, but I did not try all of the shades, so I need to. And then my last face palette is the Sephora Pro palette. This is the deep one, and this is definitely a favorite of mine. I always want to use this shade. This is just so pretty. Like, you can use that as an eyeshadow, a highlighter, whatever, and then mixing these two together for like bronzer and contour, and then you have some blush options. Like, this palette is just so pretty. So I have that, and those are all of my face palettes. I still have a few palettes on my vanity, so I'm going to grab them and bring them down here so I can show you guys really quick. So these are all the palettes that were on my vanity. I'm going to show you guys these really quick. I have the ColourPop Clear the Air palette, which is so pretty to me. And then the Coast is Clear palette. Next I have the Beauty Creations Nude X palette, which I have been loving and using. So this is what it looks like. I got this one from Marshalls, and I've only had this for a short period of time, and I literally have been reaching for it almost every single time that I do my makeup, so that was a really good buy. Next we have my favorite eyeshadow palette ever, the Dose of Colors Friendcation palette from Desi X Katie, and this is what mine looks like. I'm debating buying a backup because I saw somebody selling a brand new one on Mercari for like $17, and this shade right here, if I ever run out of this shade right here, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I literally don't know what I'm gonna do. I literally need this shade for my wedding because I'm wearing that shade on my wedding, right on my eyelid. So I might go ahead and buy me a backup of this palette, which I don't have a backup of any palettes because I never needed one really. Next I have the Plastic Void X Revolution palette, which is a staple for me. I've used this palette quite a bit. I've reached a point where I don't even think I can do my makeup without this palette because this shade here I use as like a black eyeliner. I always like to throw this shade all over my lid, and then if I want to deepen it up a little bit, I put Slay. This is a good crease shade. Like, I literally just can't go without this palette, so I have that. Next I have my Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Dreams palette, and this is what that looks like. Really pretty. This palette is literally so tiny and it was so expensive. I debated on taking it back, but I ended up keeping it, so yeah, I have that. Then I have my Dior Backstage palette. This is the Amber Neutrals, and this is what this one looks like. And then I have my Beauty Creations Nude X Mini palette, and this is the Nude Desire one, which is very pretty. I love that shade right there. It's so cute. I actually want to swatch this one. Let's see. Oh, that shade is really cute too. I might as well swatch this shade that I like so much so I can show you guys. Look how pretty that is. So yeah, I have that one. And then the last palette that I have is my Pat McGrath Mothership palette, and this is the one that was supposed to be in this box. So this is what it looks like, and this is my only Pat McGrath Mothership palette, and I found it at Marshall's for like 40 bucks, so that was a good deal. And look how pretty that is. Like that is actually ridiculous. Like, that is ridiculous. I don't know, it's something about her formula that is just so worth it. Look at that, it's so pretty. I want to swatch. I've actually never swatched this shade, so let's see what it looks like. together. Ooh, just so pretty. So many really pretty shades in this palette, and I still can't believe I found this at Marshall's. So, oh, I actually still have the price tag on it. It was $39.99, so that was a good deal. Okay guys, that was my entire eyeshadow palette collection. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in my next video.